So getting right into it, starting with the number 1 pick, Orlando Magic. I have them taking Jabari Smith for the simple fact that he is the best player available in my opinion. An elite shot creator, tremendous length. He is a good perimeter defender with an even higher ceiling on the perimeter defensively, and he's a great help side defender. I think he could fit in right with like Franz Wagner at the 3 or the 4. They could play the 3 and the 4 interchangeably. I think they they roll with Wendell Carter at the 5 going forward and let Mo Bamba walk or do a sign and trade, and then they just have to figure out the backcourt with Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, and Markelle Fultz on the team. But yeah, Jabari Smith, I think he would be a great fit at the wing position with Franz Wagner. Best player available. I think that's the no-brainer pick for Orlando. Moving to OKC, I think this is another obvious pick. They should take Chet Holmgren at number 2. They have a hole at the center position, and I love his fit with Shai Gilgeous and Josh Giddey. He's the class's best rim protector. He's an elite target for catch and finishing, which is why I love his fit with Shai and Giddey. They could set him up for some easy looks. And his spacing from the 5 position is elite. He's going to be one of the best three-point shooters at the center position throughout his entire career. So his ability to just seamlessly fit into any offense is a really big upside for Chet, and he's not going to be really ball dominant. So he'll have a great ability to play off of the on-ball action of Shai and Josh Giddey. Moving to number 3, I have the Rockets taking Paolo Banchero. I think this is another obvious fit or another obvious draft pick. He's the best player available after Jabari and Chet are gone, and he could be the Christian Wood replacement. Now, I think Paolo is the draft's best inside scorer. He's a very powerful athlete, especially in the low post. He's got natural shot creation feel for being 6'10", 245 pounds or whatever. He likes to handle the ball and create in the mid-range and with post fadeaways out of the post. He has a very good fluid handle for his height and stature. Paolo is just a really great offensive prospect. He has some defensive concerns that I think he has to address. Like, is he going to be quick enough to defend on the perimeter? Is he a good rim protector to play at the 5 at times? But offensively, I love the fit with him with that dynamic backcourt in Houston. Moving to number 4, this might be the first surprise of my mock draft. I have the Kings taking Keegan Murray. He's a versatile defender. He could be really great playing next to Sabonis if he can produce early on because of his defensive capabilities and because of the spacing he could provide. Keegan Murray is one of the most versatile defenders in the entire draft class, and Sacramento needs a lot of defensive help, and they need to find somebody who can be the ideal partner next to Sabonis. These are 2 priorities because they're committing to this Fox and Sabonis pairing. So building around that needs to be a focal point, and I think they could get onto the right foot with drafting Keegan Murray. I think he's one of the more NBA ready prospects. He's got a very high floor in my opinion, and I think drafting Keegan Murray will help the Kings get closer to being a win now team. Now next, I have the Pistons at number 5. I think they're the biggest winners here in this top 5 because Jaden Ivey can fall to them. In my scenario, I have them taking him at 5. He's the ideal partner with Cade in the backcourt. He's another offense creator. I know I've talked about how I don't think Killian Hayes is the ideal partner next to Cade Cunningham. If Killian develops and fulfills the potential that a lot of people have of him, hypothetically, there could be a 1 through 3 lineup of Jaden, Killian, and Cade because Cade is 6'7", 6'8", like 210 or 15 pounds. He's got really good size. So if they all could develop, this could be a nice 1 through 3. But regardless, I do think Jaden Ivey is a great backcourt partner with Cade. At 6, I have the Pacers taking Benedict Mathurin. He's a great three-point shooter, a really good off-ball scorer coming off of screens, getting open on the perimeter, really opportunistic cutter as well. He's a good perimeter defender with upside, and all of this is what Indiana needs. At 7, I have the Blazers taking Johnny Davis. He's one of the best shot creators in the draft. He can maybe come in and be a great 6th man with Anthony Simons joining the starting lineup next to Dame. That's going to leave a lot of scoring, or a lot of needed scoring off the bench in Portland, and Johnny Davis has a lot of ISO and just scoring capabilities. He could come in and fill that void immediately in the best case scenario. At number 8, I have the Pelicans taking Ochai Agbaji. I might be butchering the name. This might be another surprising pick. He's a 3-and-D wing, a 4-year guy, but I have the Pelicans taking him because New Orleans doesn't need any more project players. They should be in win-now mode after the display shown in the playoffs, taking the Suns to 6 games, I believe. Adding CJ McCollum as he can run the point guard going forward. You'll have a big 3 of CJ, BI, and a healthy Zion Williamson. You mainly just need to surround those guys with a lot of 3-and-D guys. You need to add more versatile defenders, and you already have Herb Jones, who's one of the best young defenders in the league. Just add another guy with 3-and-D capabilities in Ochai Agbaji. At 9, I have the Spurs taking AJ Griffin. He was a terrific 3-point shooter at Duke this past year. He's a wing with upside as a shot creator. He's a work in progress defensively, but he's definitely got natural tools to help him on the defensive end going forward. I think going into the Spurs system would be best for him since they have a good track record for the development of players with the type of upside that Griffin has. At number 10, I have the Wizards taking Shaedon Sharpe. Now, I don't really know much about him out of Kentucky, but I know he has a lot of upside. He was the top guy coming out of the high school class. The Wizards could be entering a full rebuild soon, so getting guys with the highest ceiling should be a priority. At 11, I have the Knicks taking Malachi Branham. He's a good shooter, a mid-range shot creator, and the Knicks desperately need some offensive pop. At 12, I have the Thunder taking Tari Eason. The Thunder can stand to add more talent with upside in the front court. I know they took Chet Holmgren already, but they have a lot of wings and perimeter guys with upside, so there's not a lot of minutes in that, like on the perimeter, for more prospects. So with a loaded backcourt, I think they should take Tari Eason, who's one of the best defenders in the class and is really athletic and scoring inside. At 13, I have the Hornets taking Ty Washington. The front court off the bench is kind of full right now, and the Hornets could use like a backup point guard. And I think Ty can come in and provide for a playoff team, you know, in minimal usage, but I think he's kind of NBA ready, and he could play some NBA minutes right after training camp. And the last pick in the lottery, I have the Cavaliers taking Blake Wesley. So the Cavs need more creators because their defense is set. Their defense was one of the best in the league, and they're going to get better because they're all young. Their offense slowed down midway to the end of the year, which kind of held them back and had them slide in the standings to losing in the play-in tournament. Blake Wesley could develop into their main creator off the bench, best case scenario, a role that Colin Sexton is best suited for, but we know he wants more. Now getting out of the lottery, I have Charlotte taking Jeremy Sochan, I believe, out of Baylor. He's a defender. Charlotte needs big, versatile, athletic defensive wings. Same thing with Atlanta at 16. I have them taking Kendall Brown, another big, versatile, athletic defender. At 17, I have Houston taking Jalen Duren. Best player available here. He's the best center in the class. We haven't drafted a center until 17, and Wood could be out of there. So at the center position, there could be competition between Jalen Duren and Alperen Şengün if, you know, Houston was to draft Jalen Duren here. And that competition could be good for both of the two players and for Houston to find the best fit at the 5 position. At 18, I have Chicago taking Mark Williams, the next best center. He's a defensive center. Tony Bradley kind of left a lot to be desired for in Chicago, so he could be the Tony Bradley replacement. At 19, I have Minnesota taking Jaden Hardy. He's a shooter with high upside as a scorer, and shooting and defense will find him some minutes in Minnesota's second unit. Jaden Hardy was somebody who had a lot of upside and a lot of hype around his name coming into the season, but he kind of played poorly in the G League, though that upside is still there. At number 20, I have San Antonio taking Dyson Daniels. Now, he's a big playmaking point guard with great defensive ability. Now, San Antonio needs more creation and somebody that can kind of be a catalyst for the second unit. Dyson has the playmaking ability to possibly run the second unit, and we know San Antonio likes their foreign prospects. At 21, I have Denver taking Nikola Jovic. Yes, he is Nikola Jovic, not Jokic, Jovic. So the big draw for them taking him is because he's Serbian, but outside of that, he's a very versatile power forward that can space the floor, Both JaMychal and Jeff Green shot poorly from a three-point land this year, and they were the two main guys that ran the 4 position for Denver. So yeah, just getting Jovic is another plug-and-play guy that can do a lot of things and can space the floor, and that's who you want to have surrounding Jokic, of course, and then Murray and MPJ when they come back into the fold. At 22, I have Memphis taking Max Christie. He's a shooter. He had a lot of hype surrounding his name coming into the season. His usage was kind of low in Michigan State though. But yeah, he was still a great shooter, and he has upside as a shooter and to do more with the ball than just being a catch and shoot guy. But the Grizzlies were 17th in 3-point percentage, so you want to add more shooting surrounding the likes of Ja Morant. And I'm kind of having Memphis prioritize wings in this draft class because we don't really know about the future of Dillon Brooks after next season because he's on an expiring contract. At 23, I have Philadelphia taking Marjon Beauchamp. Best player available here, has a lot of upside, likely would be a G League guy. At 24, I have Milwaukee taking Kennedy Chandler. Now, Milwaukee could use some upside at the backup point guard position, like Javon Carter's cool, but I think taking Kennedy Chandler, he's somebody that can do a bit more. He's somebody that can create offense. He's a good 3-point shooter, and he defends very well for being like 6'1", 6'2" at the tallest. He's a hard-nosed, rugged defender that competes his ass off, so I don't think he would struggle mightily like defending in the NBA. And being a good 3-point shooter and having some spark on the offensive end could find him minutes early on. And I honestly am really high on Kennedy Chandler, and I think this is a great pick for anybody towards the end of the first round. At 25, I have San Antonio taking Ousmane Dieng. I have them taking him because foreign, for number one. Number two, he was a highly touted guy before played in the NBL, though he struggled in the NBL. He was highly touted for his physical tools, being a 6'8", 6'9" guy that moves really well and that can handle the ball really well on the perimeter. I think he has upside and he could be a really good project player for San Antonio. At 26, I have Dallas taking Jalen Williams, the big man out of Arkansas. Now, he's a really versatile defender. He's a good rim protector, and he's pretty adequate at defending in space when he has to switch. Dallas needs some help at that 5 position. I know they had Dwight Powell doing his best at that position, but he is obviously limited a bit on the defensive end. I feel like Dallas should prioritize adding some rim protection here. Now at 27, I have Miami taking Jalen Williams, the wing out of Santa Clara. This is the track record for Miami. They take a lot of mid-major guys that are like slept on. And Jalen Williams, he has some ISO capabilities, some ISO upside. And he's a really good perimeter shooter. He can slash. But I think this is right up Miami's wheelhouse, like a mid-major wing. At 28, I have Golden State taking Walker Kessler. So James Wiseman didn't play a single game for Golden State this year in his second season. And I know Golden State likes to play small ball and whatnot, but I mean, sometimes they have to have a center out there, and that's what Kevon Looney is producing. Kevon Looney is going to be a free agent after this season. I think he's done a lot to kind of up his value in the open market. The Warriors could stand to add a backup 5. Walker Kessler averaged 4 blocks per game this season. He's one of the best shot blockers in the class. He's a good finisher inside. His outside shot is questionable, but I think he's somebody that has quite a bit of upside. At 29, I have Memphis taking Caleb Houston. He's another shooter on the wing. I honestly just have Memphis taking more wings to shore up their depth going forward. And the last pick in the first round, I have OKC taking Patrick Baldwin. He had a really rough year, but he was one of the highly touted guys in high school, but he just wasn't able to perform to those standards. I think he was hampered by his injury, but like the upside is still there, and OKC needs to be prioritizing players with upside, and of course with the last pick they should do so.